Hi, everybody, and welcome to the World Federation of Youth Clubs annual conference. Again, it's virtual, and none of us really had this pandemic on our agenda. And by the way, if you hear some noise in the background here, I didn't want this just to be me and my computer screen. We're here in the conference room at Eagle Hill Farm, where we've had so many important personal development meetings, and I have a crackerjack camera person, the co-founder, Susan, my wife, who, by the way, for her years at ABC, she was on the other side of the camera and she had cameramen. But we're going to do the best that we can here. And if you hear a bark every once in a while, Dolly, our dog, wants attention. And by the way, we've decided we'll give her some stage time if she requests it. At any rate, let me get back to my welcome comments. One of the great things that we can feel so good about is that in spite of the pandemic, we've made so much progress. We've got now organizations in 41 countries. And I'm particularly proud to mention some, and some that have existed before the creation of the World Federation of Youth Clubs. The many clubs in the UK, and wow, was it exciting to see the new Prime Minister invite club kids to 10 Downing Street. And we enjoyed so much seeing the UK people there in Orlando and Wales, what's been happening there. But what's happened, even in spite of the pandemic, in Mexico, in South Africa, the list goes on. And the problem with bringing up any countries is that you miss some you should have mentioned, but be that as it may. I'm often asked, what really is the mission of the World Federation of Youth Clubs? Well, it's simply this, it's to develop, enhance, and advance a global network of youth clubs that bring the services and the strategy of the clubs right to every kid and every locale. And that is a safe space or a safe place, caring, trained professionals who really execute and oversee incredible programs designed to help young people not only be safe, but to become the best version of themselves. So while we're in 41 countries, there's nearly 200 out there. So we have a lot of work to do, and that's you and I, we've got to figure out how to get it there and get more of what we're doing to others. That's why we're having this conference. And I look forward to hearing the inputs of so many of our guest speakers and so many of you. We've decided on the strategy here is really three things. It's about lead, to really innovate, and about collaborate. And let me comment, these are three fundamental requirements for not only success, but I believe with the club's sustainability. So leadership, innovation, and really collaboration. Let me comment. By lead, I don't just mean the top person at a particular club. I mean units of leadership. And that is the staff people at a club, it's the volunteers. And often what it is, it's the teenagers who are in fact members of the club who become leaders and mentors within that club. And we were always so proud here in this country that so many of the professional staff who went to work full time at Boys and Girls Clubs were in fact these youth professionals when they were teenagers. And it made it a way of life for them. So leadership is the first thing we're going to talk about. This second thing, innovation. Why is innovation so important? Is you got to get kids to the club before you can have role models there, influence them, and before you can really implement and get them engaged in programs. And that's why what we've got to do is find better ways to attract them, to engage them, and then retain them in the clubs. And that requires innovation. I remember talking to a senior club executive some years ago, and they were looking at kids play pool and some playing ping pong. And I looked down there and I said, you know, the future is going to look different here. This isn't what kids are going to be doing in the future. There's so much competition with technology. We've got to find ways to be that great competition so that we can attract them, we can engage them, and we can retain them. Then you'll see really positive impact numbers. And the third thing we're really going to focus on this next several days is this collaboration. It's bringing people together. I saw that so well in Orlando this last month when I saw people from different countries talking around the table on their best ideas, plussing one another in it. And that's why collaboration is a fundamental part of our future. Well, enough from me. You're going to hear some great speakers. I just didn't want to read a script to you. I just wanted to talk to you from my heart. But I want you to know this. This is going to make a difference in the future. And when people look back and ask about, what did you do? I love the story that I would hear about street lights. They used to be lamps in old London, and that before electricity was invented, there would be what they called the lamplighter. He'd wear a top hat. He'd bring with him a kerosene kind of a torch, and he'd have a ladder. And he'd put that up to a street light, a lamppost, and he'd climb the top and he'd light it. Just as it's starting, the sun was going down. And then he'd get to the bottom, he'd pick up his ladder and he'd go to the next one and repeat the same thing and light that light. And then repeat it again and again. And what was amazing, in no time at all, you couldn't see him anymore, but you can tell where he had been by the light he left behind. If somebody asked you what we're doing and what you do with your clubs, you're lighting lamps, and it's going to leave light behind in the lives of the kids that you and I impact. My best, and let's have some fun the next couple of days.